Welcome back to another exciting episode. Today, we are at Solanco High School, my alma mater from many, many years ago. Now, many things have changed, but one thing remains the same: the excitement of graduation. So come along with me and see what we can see and honor the class of 2019.
Please be seated. It's my pleasure to introduce the Superintendent of the Solanco School District, Dr. Brian Bliss.
Good evening, parents, family, friends, and especially graduates. Tonight's a distinctive and beautiful point in time, an instance of meaning, of importance. So my congratulations to you. Well done. Graduates, I'm sure you know this. One of the great things about graduating is tomorrow, many of you will have the chance to sleep in. Ever since you moved from elementary school to the earlier start time of middle school and then high school, many of you have been perpetually tired. I know, and I guarantee the faculty knows this too. First period is often a period of haze and fog. There's a perpetual tiredness that overcomes teenagers. Of course, some of your classmates will not be able to sleep in tomorrow. They may be moving elsewhere, moving away, moving towards something else immediately. Some of them actually may never come back to Quarryville again. Many of you will see each other again, but all of you will not see all of you again. I know you know that, but you may feel that a little more profoundly in a few years. The poet Billy Collins once described a poetry contest held every year in Barcelona. What is interesting is that he notes that there are 3 prizes for this contest. The third place prize is a rose made of silver. The second prize is a rose made of gold. So what's the first prize? The first prize is a real rose, the flower itself, a rose that will wither and die within a few days. The first prize is a real, genuine, something to marvel at, even though it might be short-lived. The rose, the moment, the instance, the indulgence, the short-lived occasion, that's the prize. So tonight is certainly one of those real and genuine moments, but it's also a short-lived one. So graduates, right now you're here, likely excited, likely a little nervous, and tomorrow when you wake, well, tonight will be behind you. Tomorrow when you wake, things will begin anew. So enjoy this evening, this ephemeral and meaningful moment. Enjoy being around your classmates and your family with the same wonder as if it was the first and last time. Anne Frank once said, "How wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. But you can take a few moments, sleep in even, and then start improving the world." So my congratulations to you. Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce our distinguished speaker, Captain Joseph Blitzer III. Captain Bledsoe is a 2007 Solanco graduate. He is the son of Joey and Joni Bledsoe Jr. of Quarryville and is married to Alicia Brower, who also graduated from Solanco in 2007. They have 2 young sons, Trayson and Daxton. He graduated in 2011 with distinction from the United States Air Force Academy. In 2015, he earned a master's degree in public policy from the University of Maryland. While originally setting his sights on medical school, he got a taste of flying and was hooked, so he moved to Del Rio, Texas to earn his Air Force pilot wings. Captain Bledsoe trained to fly the F-15E Strike Eagle with the 336 world-famous Rocketeer Fighter Squadron. He was deployed in 2017 to support Operation Inherent Resolve, charged with the elimination of ISIS from Iraq and Syria. He flew 70 combat missions, 334 combat hours, defending coalition forces on the ground and in the air. He is currently an instructor pilot for the F-15E Strike Eagle. Please join me in welcoming Captain Blitzer.
Thank you, Dr. Bliss, for the kind introduction and invitation to speak here tonight. It is humbling to stand on this stage after I walked across it almost a decade ago. I never imagined that I would be given such an honor to address a group of deserving individuals like yourself. Solanco class of 2019, you did it. Class of 2019, family, friends, administration, and teachers, thank you for having me here tonight. I'm sure you're all glad today has finally arrived. Like Dr. Bliss mentioned, I'm a 2007 graduate and proud to say I grew up in Quarryville, Pennsylvania. I remember all too well from the numerous ceremonies I've attended that I quite literally stand between you guys and the reason you're all here tonight, to receive your diplomas. So I'll keep my comments brief, okay? I ask you all to indulge me for a few minutes so I can try and pass a few life lessons that I've learned since I was sitting right there. I would like to think that I'm not that old and that my advice is relevant to your near future. To put it in some kind of perspective for you guys, I was a senior here at the high school when you were all in kindergarten. I can still remember my elementary school days at Quarryville, and I have fond memories of middle school at Smith. The high school has added a bunch of improvements over the recent years, but from walking around it today, brought back so many memories from my time here, and it feels like I just left yesterday. I may have grown a few gray hairs since sitting in those seats, but I promise you I can still relate what it feels like to wear those exact cap and gowns. Now, in the 12 years since you all started school, I have gone on to learn a lot about the world outside of Quarryville. But to start, I would be remiss as a fighter pilot if I didn't tell you a story. So there we were, in the Middle East, in support of Operation Inherent Resolve, the elimination of ISIS from Iraq and Syria. My wingman and I had just launched on a 6-hour mission in our combat-loaded F-15E Strike Eagles to provide overwatch and combat support to our American forces on the ground. As we checked in over the radio with the guys on the ground who were actively engaged in a fight against ISIS, I can remember a few specific things. On this day, these troops had no dedicated air support prior to our check-in. At that time, in the fight against ISIS, tensions were high as the remaining enemy were attempting to scatter and do whatever means necessary to do so. As we checked in with our fellow Americans, I can distinctly remember 3 things. The first was seeing the American flag on their Humvees. I felt so much pride for those guys on the ground and their sacrifice. It was incredibly memorable to see a familiar sight in such a desolate place. I never met those guys flying those flags, but the second I saw them flying, I knew there wasn't anything I wouldn't do to support them. Anytime you see our flag flying, I hope you guys feel the same. The second thing I remember that day was the voice of the controller over the radio. He was in charge of calling in airstrikes, if needed, against the enemy. I cannot remember his name or what he specifically said. All I remember was the tone of his voice. His sense of relief was apparent, knowing he had Americans overhead, ready to support and strike at a moment's notice. His sense of peace during war was apparent. My third recollection, and most notable to me, was introspective. For the first time, I had a sense of astonishment that I was in that moment, flying a fighter aircraft in combat so far from my family and my home. It was in that instance, I looked back on my life and thought, how did I get here? Looking back, my path has been unique and not what I expected since I was sitting right there. Since leaving Solanco and the southern end, I've learned a lot and had to work hard to get where I am today. My journey is by no means complete, but as you begin your own journey, I'd like to pass on some advice that I would think will keep you all on a successful path. The first, be proud of your roots. I know it sounds cliche, but until you leave this small niche in the world, you won't realize how amazing it really is. Be proud you know how to pass an Amish buggy. That you know what shoe fly pie is. Brag that your school had a drive to tractor to school day, and that you got off from school for the first day of rifle season. Yes. Appreciate you all know how to order a Dottie's cheesesteak, and that you can identify what that smell is from the farmer's field, and to keep your windows up to avoid it the best you can. Never forget the black hole student section and all the Never forget the black hole student section and all the successes you've all had wearing the Solanco uniform. Remember the camaraderie and support you've had for each other over the years and the advancements you've been a part of here at Solanco. Look back and laugh at your senior prank as you can imagine Mrs. Leininger standing in that mailroom popping all those balloons by herself. Lastly, if someone ever says to you, oh, you're just a Solanco grad, correct them and say, no, I'm proud to be a Solanco grad. As your thoughts are focused in the future, I advise you keep them rooted in the past. This school, these teachers, these memories will stay with you for the rest of your lives. They are not something you should ever want to forget. I think my advice parallels your class motto quite well. Your memories are forever with you. Like I mentioned before, I graduated in 2007. 20 days after graduating, I left Quarryville and joined the Air Force. I've lived in Colorado, Maryland, Texas, North Carolina, and traveled to too many different states and countries to number. I tell you that to say that I still call Quarryville home. There's something about this town, these people, and this culture that gives me a sense of peace. And I would argue that many of you probably feel the same way. If you decide to stay here in the southern end, continue to embrace our hospitable nature. If you end up moving away, take what you have learned from this community and spread its cheer. The world needs more people like you. Now I know for some of you, you may be looking up at me thinking, I can't wait to leave Solanco. I want to get away from all that stuff you just talked about. To which I say, good for you. When I was in your shoes, I felt the exact same way. It was only after moving away did I ever realize what I was leaving. My advice is not to say that you should define the pinnacle of your life around Solanco or the southern end. You all have immense accomplishments to achieve in the near future. I simply want you to remember where you started, so then you can truly measure how far you've come. Next, I want you all to surround yourself with people that will make you better. In about an hour or so after the ceremony, you all walk back to your cars, drive home, and get ready for tomorrow. However, tomorrow looks very different than it did in the past. This summer, next year, all will be different than what you've experienced before. I remember my walk back to my car in 2007 thinking, when will I ever see these people again? It was a daunting thought as I tried to comprehend what the next chapter holds. My advice to you all is to keep in touch with your friends and cherish your relationships for as long as you can. That sounds obvious, but I promise you, your schedules will get busy. And if you don't prioritize staying in contact, you will slowly fall apart. Avoid that trap at all costs. Also, don't forget to call your mom, or your dad, or your grandparents, or your siblings, etc. They're your family, and just because you are graduating high school and moving on to the next chapter in life doesn't mean they get to stop worrying about you, or you get to forget all they've done for you up to this point. This advice should hold true for the rest of your life. Some of you may know my parents, Joni and Joey Blitzer. They're staples in the community. They will attest every Sunday, no matter where I'm at in the world, I'll call home. That phone call is good for the soul, I promise. I also urge you to always be genuine and seek out genuine people. Moving forward in life, you will all meet new people, create new relationships, and surround yourselves with friends. The world outside of high school can be cutthroat, whether that is college, industry, business, politics, or even day-to-day life. I promise you, you will encounter disingenuous people. They will stick out to you and ultimately will add more stress to your life than what you deserve. Don't become one of them. Next, find a mentor. Many of you, knowingly or not, have been set up with great mentors here at Solanco just by the nature of the high school system. Teachers, coaches, guidance counselors, to name a few, have all had great interest in your lives and seeing you succeed up to this point. However, from this day forward, that structure is gone. You are not going to pass them in the hallways or see them at practice anymore. I'm not saying you will forget all the advice these individuals have given you, and by no means do I expect you to not to stay in contact with them after high school. If anything, I recommend the opposite. I still ask for advice from my guidance counselor, Mrs. Shoemaker. Every time I touch a basketball, I think about Coach Fisher and the structure he taught me as a young man. I selected my college major because I fell in love with the sciences from Mr. Gervin and Mr. Miller. I used most of the notes I took in Mr. Rocker's AP Calculus class to pass my college courses. Mr. McTaggart helped me select topics for research all throughout my time at the academy, and I could keep going on and on. You see, just like me, these teachers have impacted your life and will continue to do so. However, as you leave Solanco and all its resources, expect to feel isolated and overwhelmed at times. This is okay. Combat these emotions by actively seeking out new people for help and advice. Find mentors who can guide and support you on your journey. Utilizing mentors throughout life is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it shows humility and willingness to grow as an individual. In addition to surrounding yourself with people that will make you better, I ask you to also have the traits that others will seek out routinely. In my short career thus far, the three traits that I found most important have been credibility, humility, and approachability. Credibility ultimately leads to trust. Trust is the foundation of any relationship. Humility breeds modesty. It shows willingness to admit wrongs while also not boasting in successes. Approachability is often overlooked. Never forget the power of good eye contact, a firm handshake, and an honest conversation. I also want to pass on to you all advice that was given to me from one of my most personal mentors. It is best done by reminding or explaining to you the old fable, The Emperor's New Clothing. In this early 1800s story, there was an arrogant emperor who cared too much about wearing extravagant clothing. As the story goes, the emperor hired two weavers who claimed to make the most magnificent clothing. In reality, they were just con men trying to swindle the emperor out of his money by convincing him the fabric they used for his clothing was invisible to anyone unfit for their position. As you can guess, the weavers never made the emperor any clothing, but due to the emperor surrounding himself with yes men, none of which had the courage to tell the emperor he was parading around the town naked, the emperor found himself ignorant to his stark naked situation. It wasn't until one small town girl screamed out, "But the emperor isn't wearing anything," did the rest of the townsfolk and the emperor's entourage finally speak up agreeing. The point I want to make is never be afraid to speak up. No matter who your boss is or what the situation entails, always have the courage to speak up, even if you're in the minority. I would much rather have you on my team knowing I will get honest feedback out of you compared to just telling me what you think I want to hear. Finally, my third and final snippet of advice is to set goals, stay focused, but be flexible. You all have probably heard before the importance of setting goals, so I'm not going to belabor that fact. I'm sure each and every one of you in some shape or form has goals for your life, whether that is attending college, trade school, starting work, getting married, having kids, etc. All equally important as the next. However, I want to primarily focus on the determination and work ethic it sometimes takes to meet those goals, while also being prepared to accept the fact that sometimes your goals might change. For as long as I can remember, my dad has ingrained in me the motto, stay focused. I've taken that advice and applied it to almost every facet of my life. My wife, Alicia, who is also a 2007 Solanco grad and my high school sweetheart, can attest that once I set a goal, I'm motivated to see it to completion. For example, I knew I wanted to attend the United States Air Force Academy when I was in 6th grade. I spent 6 years preparing to attend college. Now, before you all call me a nerd for thinking about college in the 6th grade, I want you to realize how hard I had to work to get accepted. I had to take the SATs 8 times and the ACTs twice before ever getting a score that was even competitive. I had numerous mock interviews and stayed up late, more nights than I care to admit, just to make sure I had the grades to get in. You see, I was smart, but I wasn't the smartest. I knew I had to work hard to meet my goals and stay focused until I did. Never underestimate the importance of a strong work ethic and what it can get you. In addition to working hard towards your goals, I also want to highlight the importance of staying flexible throughout your life. When I first started at the Air Force Academy, I initially had the goal of being a military physician. I spent 3.5 years working tirelessly towards that goal, but during my junior year, with medical school applications and interviews already in the works, I got the taste of flying and decided to put my medical career field on hold to pursue becoming a pilot. The reason I tell you this is that sometimes your goals in life will change, and that's fine. True individual happiness lies in your ability to ignite your own passions. Sometimes those passions change, or, like in my case, you might not even know they exist. It is okay if you don't know what you want to be when you grow up. Some days that's how I feel as well. The advice I want you to walk away with is to continue to work hard towards the goals you set today. If your passions change, be proud of how hard you worked in the past, harness those lessons you learned, and apply them towards the new goals that you set. Keeping this mindset will keep doors open for you throughout life like you cannot imagine. So with that said, class of 2019, I know I've tried to pass along a lot of advice in a few short minutes. My journey since leaving Solanco has been full of different opportunities and experiences. From those, I hope I have conveyed meaningful and helpful advice to you as you start this next chapter of your own lives. We are all proud of you and your accomplishments thus far. I want to be the first to congratulate you on graduating tonight. Just always remember your roots, surround yourself with good people, and work hard towards your goals, even if they change throughout your life. From my experience so far, if you can do those things, your path in life will be enjoyable. I wish you the best, class of 2019, and I can't wait to see you guys out there. Congrats.
Thank you, Captain Blitzer, for the kind words of advice, as well as your service to our country. It's my pleasure to introduce our senior graduation speakers. We will start with the salutatorian, Faith Rainier.
All right. Good afternoon, friends, family, and faculty. Thank you for being here tonight. First and foremost, I want to thank my big, crazy family. I'm so lucky to have such great role models in my life and beautiful nieces and nephews. You guys are amazing. Throughout the years, I have had many amazing teachers, but I want to give a special thank you to Mr. Bond and Mrs. Mcrobbie. You two have guided me, believed in me, and supported me throughout high school, and I appreciate your investment into my success, both in high school and beyond. You truly care about your students, and you show it each and every day. I also want to thank Mrs. Shell, not only for furthering my love of math, but for taking up the role of class advisor and bringing us through the home stretch. She also broke her ankle for us, so that's something. We hope you have a quick recovery. Lastly, I want to thank my friends. Whether we were friends for a year, 6 years, or our whole lives, you have shaped me to who I am today. There is one friend who I don't want to forget tonight. She was one of my best friends throughout elementary school, and I know she was a good friend to all of you. Her name was Brooke Stauffer. When I think about our friendship, I remember four-wheeling in the mud, exploring her haunted dog kennel, playing in jungle in my basement, and I even have Brooke and Chase forever spelled with a 4, carved into my playset at home. I think of all these fun times we have together, but I also think of everything that she has and will miss. Yesterday would have been her 18th birthday, and today her graduation. I wish so badly that you were here tonight, Brooke. We miss you. She couldn't be here tonight, so let's not take it for granted that we are. Every single one of us has had our hardships, some of us more than others. We've experienced the type of pain that makes you feel like you can barely breathe, but you've made it through, and tonight you will graduate. You guys are stronger than you realize. In the words of Eleanor Roosevelt, with the new day comes new strength and new thoughts. Not only is tomorrow a new day for us, but class of 2019, it is a new era. Tomorrow we start a new chapter of our lives. And no matter what that looks like for you, I challenge you to face it with strength. Whether you're going to college, into the military, or into the workforce, we all have our challenging times ahead of us. You may want to give up, you may feel defeated, but you can overcome. I want to read you a Bible verse that I first learned in summer camp when I was in middle school and has stuck with me ever since. Isaiah 40:31 says, "Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." I find comfort in this verse because I know that when I am weak, when I'm having a hard day and I feel like I can't go on, I have someone who will lift me up. So yes, be strong, but also remember that it's okay to get help from others, whoever that is for you. Class of 2019, we truly have no limits, so go for it. Chase your dreams, face the next part of your life with strength and confidence. I know that you can and will do great things. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to introduce the valedictorian for the class of 2019, Mr. David Harvey.
Carolyn.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I too would like to extend a warm welcome to you, even to those who saw the crowd and came because they thought this was a football game. Thank you to all those who came out this evening and to all those who have helped us along the way. I'm looking at you, teachers, parents, mentors, coaches, family, friends, and many more. I have no doubt that each and every one of you is beaming with pride right now. It has been my honor to have been a part of this truly awesome group of seniors. Similar to the mold from last summer, you guys have really grown on me. I would have made a joke about the school's water right there, but it was too basic. And from mold infestation to tonight's graduation, this year has been amazing. We've done so much, both for ourselves and for our community. Here's a real-life application of math for you teachers in the math department. We've spent somewhere around, and this is if I did my math correctly, about 4.4 million hours collectively being educated from kindergarten until now. Allow me to put that into context for you. That is a lot of fitness gram pacer tests. And I, for one, am very grateful that we didn't spend all our time on those. On a more serious note, I would like to make one or two coherent points. As we get ready to leave today with our diplomas, members of the class of 2019, don't forget the effort that was poured into us by those around us. I would encourage you, classmates, to be willing to turn around and pour out just as much or even more time and effort into those who would follow in our footsteps. No matter where you go and what community you settle in, I hope that you remember Solanco and make this community proud by going and improving yours. Don't just be an apathetic member, be the driving force behind the betterment you want to see. But the road to betterment will likely not be easy. It might throw you more curveballs than all of our stellar baseball pitchers combined. A little side note, congrats to all of our athletic programs, especially those that went into the playoffs, for making this year very memorable and exciting. But back to my point. Don't just tap out when things get tough. Don't be like the wrestling building over there and collapse under a little weight. Unlike the wrestling building, we're not isolated from the main high school building. We have each other. A fellow by the name of Patrick Henry had a few words to say about strength through unity. In his most famous address to many of the founders of this great nation, he said, "They tell us, sir, that we are weak, unable to cope with so formidable an adversary. But when shall we be stronger? Will it be the next week or the next year?" Notice how he says we. We make each other stronger. We together are able to make a difference. Henry knew the importance of community because moments later he said, "Besides, sir, we shall not fight our battles alone." Granted, Henry was helping to organize a massive rebellion, and the odds are none of us will ever help spark an armed revolt like he was, but the idea is still the same. We have a community to support us and a community to contribute to that can be a sturdy foundation for us. Well, we're in the end game now, which I'm sure many of us see as an absolute win. I would like to leave you with a quote from a song written by renowned musician Post Malone, and I won't try to sing it. I'll leave the singing to those who are able, like the chorale. Now I can scream that we made it. Now everyone, everywhere I go, they say congratulations. So congratulations, class of 2019. We've made it.
First off, who knew David Harvey was a stand-up comedian? Congratulations. There you go. All right, it's my turn to talk about you. Earlier in the year, on the day my retirement was announced, one of your classmates saw me in the hall. Actually, they were at the opposite end of the hall, and he began to holler at me as he approached me, sharing how he was upset that I was leaving, that I would no longer be principal. He continued to holler and berate me as he approached me, to when he finally got to me in the hallway and he said, "I'm just not happy with your decision." I shared I was sorry I didn't consult with him. And as he took a breath, I said, "You know, you're not going to be here next year either." I think that was one of the first moments it hit him that he would be graduating. You could see the light bulb go off over his head. I'm sure each of you seniors have had similar light bulb moments when it hit you that this was your senior year and there would be no more high school in the future. Maybe your light bulb moment was the last time you walked off the football field, walked off the stage after a performance, left your favorite teacher's classroom, or maybe it was even the last time you had a slushie in the cafeteria. In any case, life as a high school student is coming to an end tonight. As individuals and as a class, you have left such a positive legacy on Solanco High School. You have excelled in so many areas that your class achieved one of the highest amounts of scholarships and awards ever given here. Congratulations. shown leadership and maturity beyond your years, most of the time. As your class faced the loss of one of your own, you supported each other. When individual or team successes were occurring, you were there as the unified black hole. You were a class that exemplified class unity. As you move from the role of a high school student into new roles as college students, workers, or as military personnel, realize that wherever you go, you have left your mark and you will be missed. So back to that discussion in the hallway. Your classmate, who will remain anonymous, Kyle Osborne, he did ask me one more question. His question was, why do you want to retire this year? The answer's obvious. I want to graduate and leave with the best of the best, the class of 2019. Dr. Bliss and Mr. Risk, I am proud to present to you the class of 2019 who has achieved all the accolades and requirements to receive their diplomas. Can I invite you to the stage? Senior class officers, please come to the stage.
Tyler Kent Allen. Gabriel Robert Anderson. William Connor Anderson. Ryan Michael Ankrum. Michael Ryan Allcamp. Molly Nicole Baber. Sophia Catherine Baker. Jack Daniels Barr. Kaylee Page Barr. Gavin T. Bartow. Corey Baxter. Precious Ray Bell. Caleb Billings. Heavy Midler. Age Danielle Blake. Melissa Booth. Evan Boulay. Cody Brackbill. Alta Brandenberger. Victoria Bruno. Sam Buckwalter. Caitlin Burgess. Alexa Berger. Nathan Butler. Jessica Rose Cabrera. Carly Callahan. Lana Carter. Morgan Chapman. Chase Charles. Cameron S. Clulo. Davina Marie Coe. Micaiah Crawford. Reese Madeline Curry Sander. Angel Daniel Morales. Brianna Elizabeth Davis. Dakota J. Davis. Haley Faith Davis.
Oh, look up.
Sierra Dean. Desiree Lynn DeHaven. Emma Catherine Diamond. Christy May Diaz. Oliver Diaz. Elisa Diaz. Nicholas Alexander Dillon. Come on, Nicholas! Erin Rose Dobinson. DeAndre Latrell Downing. Rachel Ekman. Allison Eldridge. Isaiah Seth Eshelman. Damian Xavier Esteban. Georgia Ann Ewing. Xander Nicholas Faulkner. Camilla Rose Feldman. Timothy Evan Fetterman. Lexi Findley. Madison Riley Findley. Alana Fiske. Jaden Scott Pfizer. Kelly Foose. Haley Forrester Feliciano. Hayden Wyatt Fox. Alexis Fry. Zachary Fritz. Kendra Nicole Furman. Emily Raylan Gattano.
Go by yourself.
Mackenzie Gladfelter. Allison Rose Glick. Zoe Goebel. Abigail Michelle Golden. Joseph Thomas Gauthier. Averix Michael Grant. Michael Allen Gretsch Jr. Gabriella Griffinetti. Zach Haldeman. Cheyenne Hall. Brian Michael Hammock. Kyle Hanna. David Dwayne Harvey. Laura May Haywood. Tyshawn Hedgepath.
Travis Allen Heisler. Joshua Herr. Zoe Hinton. Patrick Hodson. Kylie Houston. Darren Hurley. Noah James Hewitt. Dustin Immel. Corey Eugene Johnson. Matthew Johnson. Marshall Keyport. Daniel Keller. Claudia Kennedy. Haley Marie Kirshner.
Love you, Hal!
Carson Kilgore.
Those back are waving at you.
Andrew Kilkenny. Juliana King. Marshall Thomas Kinnaman. Olivia Joelle Keiss. Brianna Cole. Aaliyah Noelle Joy Kranak. Dawson Kreider. Grace Katera Kreider. Dana Autumn Landis. Jason Patrick Lane. Brianna Kaylee Langley. Natalie Morgan Adele Lasco. Ruby Lynn Latham. Miranda Lothman. Victoria Grace Lawson. John Arlen Lefever. Jacob Levering. Dennis Alexander Lufkowski.
Cole Jr. Lewis. Caitlin Lewis. Kayla Lewis. Montana Sky Lockhart. Destiny Faith Lundy. Kaylee Alexis Massey. David Nathaniel Matos. Aiden McBride.
She's with the new 40. Yeah, I like that skirt.
Vanessa Eden McCall. Kara Grace McLuhan. Jared McCluskey.
Eric McCory. Connor McFalls.
I don't do much anymore.
Joshua McGee. Joel McGuire. Rachel Iva McLaren.
I finally have
Hannah McNamee. Maricela Rosella Medina. Charlotte Ann Milan. Xavier Mendoza.
36 years, damn it, but I don't in there.
Avery Metz. Trayana Miller.
Never got
Walter Strongheart Miller Welch. Guadalupe Arizate Montez. Ryan Montgomery.
I never started over at home stuff from day one.
Russell Nafis Moore Jr. Gilbert Gonzalez.
They worked money. They're just $77,000 back.
Kyle Morrison.
I said, look, really, I agreed to what I do for my
Hannah Morse.
you know, and that's just my lawyer.
Harry Smith Mulrooney.
There.
John Stephen Murray.
He said, all you've been through, and all this, what they do,
Ezra
like
Tauchi.
in your past, everybody has a paper file. You know, they're like this. They make everything one.
Courtney Sophia Myers.
on my file was and that judge. Good job,
Donovan Chase Myers. Darlene Elizabeth Paredes. William Daniel Paredes.
You do get
Zach Perez. Josiah Petershon. Hannah Marie Phillips. Jenna Beth Phillips. David Pierce. Jared Klein. Alyssa Plaza. Jenna Poole.
It's a lot easier.
Clifton Pruitt. Jillian Sue Whipple.
It's worth it.
Diana Quintino Romero.
Yeah, I want to say something good.
Dylan Real.
All right, did you get the other chair?
Josiah Riley. Juliana Rose. Jackson Richards. Faith Reinier. Kelly Renee Robillard. Jameen Valero Vasquez. Aubrey Ray Jacob Tyler Rose. Clarissa Rowe. Hannah Michelle Rudick. Daniel Thomas Sampson V.
What time is it?
5-8, honest.
Kay Marie Sandel. Madison Nicole Santiago. David Schlossman. Zach Schlossman. Robert E. Schmidt. Noelle Ann Schneider.
Oh my goodness.
No, you're on the new way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Logan Cree Shank. Hunter T. Shaw. Caitlin Rose Schaefer.
In Akron.
Aubrey Sheets.
We met her back in the Pine Hill.
Gabby Sheets.
And when you get to the top Pine Hill, there's a driveway back in there.
Kelsey Sheets.
And they aren't real busy all the year. But the man said that when they are busy,
Kelsey
they
Ann
are
Simpkins.
And Jerry's like, Mom, I gotta be ashamed again because it's in the middle of nowhere.
Alyssa Smith.
They didn't accept us in their line, so you had to go. Well, you know people are on. Yeah, everywhere.
Becky Lee Smith.
Fill out the application, and you know,
Harrison Grant Smith.
and you said
Zachary Lane Smith. Jordan Smucker. Luis Angel Solis Morales.
He said sometimes you will have a day with absolutely nothing.
Jesse Adams
He
Spangler.
said then next week, someone comes in and he's going to look at it and say,
Sophia Elena Spiro.
Yes, Sophia!
Mr. Family.
Addison Spoon Howard.
Roll unemployment for a day or two.
Austin Joel Stanton.
They wait, Lord, they do it. It's the same deal.
Hannah Joy Steinhauer. Thomas A. Steinhauer II. Corey Scott
So I don't know,
Sadley.
he said Tuesday your birthday. Fill out your paperwork.
Andrew Thomas Stalker.
Yeah, we got all we got.
Olivia Stoltzfus. Brianna Nicole Stotler. Peyton Strain.
Fly right.
Dulce Tadeo Gonzalez. Yui Takuchi. Brittany Taylor. Josiah Taylor. Brittany Lynn Taylor. Edward Temple V. Bethany Ryan Todd. Rachel Townsley. Skyla
Ray Townsley. Dakota Lynn Trimble. Sierra Ray Troop. Tyler Nicholas Troop. Sarah Jean Trout. Shelby Ann Trout. Caitlin R. Wallace. Elizabeth Rhoda Weaver. Taylor Grace Weaver. Jeannie Weixel. Matthew Weixel. Christopher Welk.
John.
Hannah Wheeler. Zachary Weiger. Sean Wilkin. Gabriel Allen Williams. Madison Williams. Jaden Tanner Willis. Ivana Lynn Wilson. Henry Roy. Kennedy Marie Yost. Autumn Young. Elsie Alina Zaborski.
I just need a new set of legs.
Alexander Wright.
Oh my God! I can these young whippersnappers are always how hard they are.
At this time, we will present the diplomas to the class officers. The historian, Logan Yelechko.
Congratulations, young man. Good luck.
Beat it.
The treasurer, Brooke Wheeler. Secretary, Lauren McNutt. Vice President, Kyle Osborne. and President for the class of 2019, Josh Canale.
Hold it!
At this time, I invite Josh forward to give the farewell to the class.
Cameron! Not Joshy.
Alright, so I was a little too nervous to do this, so I asked Kyle to do it with me. First off, I would like to thank all the parents, teachers, administration, siblings, and friends who showed up tonight to support us, the class of 2019, as we end one chapter of our lives and move on to another. Without all of you, none of us would have made it to the stage of life that we're at today. Now, without further ado, welcome to the very first annual Barnyard Banter Roast of Principal Stephanie Langinger. In all reality, though, I would like to thank Stephanie Langinger for the service to her community through her teaching career and service as assistant principal and as her tenure as our principal. Congratulations on your long career. There are many teachers here at this school that have inspired us throughout our 4 years, but there's one teacher in specific that our class has voted on as the teacher that has had the biggest impact on our lives. This person not only makes their classes interesting, fun, and meaningful, but they also form connections with their students on a personal level and teach them valuable lessons about life aside from school. As a gift to this person, this white gown, signed by our entire class, is a symbol of our appreciation for your dedication as a teacher, as well as a great person. Please welcome to the stage, Mrs. Leslie Mcrobbie.
Yeah, she's an upper class English teacher.
Now, on to what was considered, and even said by Miss Langinger, one of the greatest classes and generations that Solanco's ever seen. You heard it. So honestly, one of the main characteristics that our class is known for, and quoted by many teachers around the building, is our kindness. However, there are many more attributes to our class that is known for our varied academic, artistic, and athletic programs. We have had standouts in regards of academics, but around our AP courses and great teaching staff. Angel Daniel Morales, congratulations on your national recognition with the Lenfest Scholarship. It's very much well deserved. As well as the hard work for salutatorian and valedictorian Faith Rainier and David Harvey for the hard work that put for the recognition. Along with the hard work put into the classrooms that I think is very overlooked, our art programs. Tyler Allen has had countless pieces of art put in museums and numerous scholarships. Olivia Stoltzfus has had many pieces as well on exhibits and even published in a few magazines. Casey Weeder and Chase Charles put so much time in painting murals around the building to improve our school atmosphere. Gabe Williams, Gabby Griffinetti, and Andrew Stocker, the stars of our musicals and chorale. Thank you all for your hard work and entertainment, for the joy you've brought us all. Like I said once more, our art and music programs are often overlooked. But looking around, we have so many devoted and talented artists. Thank you for your hard work and dedication to express yourself and to improve your community.
Many of our fellow classmates managed to balance such a heavy workload and devotion to perform at a high level on the courts and the fields. Time and time again, we would file into the stadium to watch countless games under these Friday night lights. To cheer and root for Coach Cox and our boys upon the gridiron. To watch Joel McGuire scramble for a 60-yard touchdown. Chant out our O-line with Josiah Reinbold pulls for a hole as Nafis Moore rushes in for a red zone touchdown. Go berserk as Logan Yaleshko breaks QBs in two. And totally lose it when Nick Dillon hoists the milk jug in our corner over there. And as the fall slowly became the winter, we watched girls and guys basketball. As Jess Cabrera scores 1,000 points, as the buzzer sounds at halftime. Or as Dawson Kreider hits 7 3-pointers in the All-Star basketball game. The snow then melted on the fields and revealed the Diamond Techs. We watched our softball and baseball teams compete, softball grind, and they helped Coach Brett Miller get his 500th career win. Baseball was then led to districts and leagues under the incredible arms of Hayden Fox and Corey Stively. Led by the incredible bats of Tim Fetterman and as well Dawson Kreider. Once more, the class of 2019, thank you Josh, very kind. The class of 2019 is known for its kindness, as Josh would so gratefully and graciously devote some of his time for me to speak. Even though some of it might have been out of fear, we don't really know. But we also have unmatched and unrivaled skills in these categories. Now before I step away, I would just like to say thank you to all the teachers, principals, staff, and mostly you guys for everything that you have given me. Thank you.
As Kyle just described, every single one of you guys has something special about you, whether you choose to believe it or not. Some of you are special because you have strength that is completely unmatched, but not just physical strength, mental strength. Some of you are special because you're loyal to your friends and family, down to the core, and will give them the world to be happy. For some of you, you're special because the chances of you making it to this point seem doubtful, but you still had the willpower to push through, and look, you made it. Some of us have had countless obstacles in our lives that have made us not want to continue and give up. We all have a story, and whether or not people are aware of it, you are all so special for being able to make it to this point, despite any of the struggles that you endured to do so. It may seem like we've come so far, but in reality, we've only just started. We have our entire lives ahead of us, and each and every one of our futures will be unique. Some of you may not currently know what the next step is, and that's completely okay. What's meant to happen will happen. Adulthood is something big and something scary that each of us now have to face. But after seeing how amazing we all are as a class, I have absolutely no doubt that we can handle it. To end this speech, I just want to say that it's been a complete honor to be a leader of this class, as I'm sure all my fellow officers can agree. You all have taught us countless things, and these 4 years has been a ride for us all. All I can ask from you is that no matter what you become, what you do, or where you go, you are always going to remember that you're going to be a part of the Solanco class of 2019, and that's something to be proud of, to say the least. Now, if you all stand and rise with me to get ready to turn our tassels from the left to right, you can go ahead.
Good boy! Play that to me.